this channel, I've given you guys a lot of advice about how to talk to women, mingle with women. If you've ever had any insecurities when it pertains to women, whether you don't know how to talk to them, whether you're just getting into a relationship, and I've even gone as far as to open up about losing your virginity to a woman and the expectations that comes with that, and honestly the fact that it's not as big of a deal that a lot of you guys make it out to be. But there's something very serious that I want to talk about on this channel that I don't think we've dived that deep into before, and it's the fact that a lot of you guys are fantasizing with the idea of being with a woman, which is a normal scenario for any man to be in. But the very unfortunate reality that a lot of men have fallen into is chasing lust, and living a life that is fueled by lust and lust alone will leave you miserable. I recently posted a video on this channel where it was titled, "She Let Me Smash on the First Night." Go check it out if you guys want to. It's definitely a dope video. I'll leave a link in the description. But pretty much, long story short, it was a story about a time where a woman that I really didn't know like that pulled up on me to hang out, and ultimately by the end of the night we got to the business. I confessed in that video about how it made me feel, which ultimately was a feeling of emptiness, loneliness, and feeling disgusted with myself. Reason being because the girl that I had just experienced this night with wasn't somebody that I truly had built a relationship with at all. It was just another late Saturday night. I got tired of fapping, and when the opportunity presented itself for an easy score with a woman that I found mildly attractive, to be honest, I jumped at it, and when the deed was done, I was left feeling worse than how I even felt before. Hey there, sorry to interrupt this video, but if you guys love me, which I know you do, right after you subscribe to this channel, go to the link in the description and subscribe to my reaction channel. You're getting daily uploads, sometimes twice a day, sometimes even 3 times a day, and I know you guys want more Berto content. In all seriousness, I thank you guys so much for the support, but we are trying to get to 10,000 subscribers on the reaction channel, so go check it out. I know you guys won't be disappointed. And now let's get right back to the video. Thank you. Lust is a feeling that a lot of men deal with, and it's even worse today with the over-sexualization of virtually everything. It's sad, honestly. But essentially what's happening is the idea of having relations with a woman in any way, shape, or form is so overpowering that a lot of you guys are willing to do anything to satisfy this hunger. Whether it's fapping, whether you're participating in hookup culture, or some of you guys might even be going as far as cheating on your significant other. You literally have a girl at home that loves you and will do anything consensually with you, but instead you go get with somebody else that doesn't even really care about you like that, just to fulfill this lust you will desire. I've been this guy in honestly all 3 categories, and I can tell you guys that going down this path will leave you miserable, because essentially what lust is just another form of lack of discipline. It's just another form of not being able to control the emotions that are bottling up inside of you and acting impulsively on what you believe is going to make you feel better. I've opened up about this before on my channel, but I don't think I've ever gone into like super strong detail. But one of the biggest life-changing moments that happened in my life was when I lost my dad in 2020. Unfortunately, my dad lost the battle to cancer. He was somebody that I respected very deeply. You know, we didn't see eye to eye on everything, but one thing is for sure, he was a man that I felt like experienced a lot of things, and in a lot of ways was somebody that I was able to open up to, because he wasn't the perfect person. You know, he made bad decisions, and although bad decisions have consequences, they come with a lot of lessons. And that's definitely something that I deeply appreciated, because it's one thing to get advice from somebody that is kind of like the cookie cutter, does everything by the book, and they're just gonna tell you exactly what you need to do because that's the right thing to do, right? But it's another thing to hear it from somebody that, you know, actually went through something, actually made the wrong decision and had to deal with, you know, lifelong consequences for their decisions. Well, I don't want to, like, I guess, speak on something that's not necessarily my situation, but it is my truth. He was my father. And what I will say is, it's kind of like weird to talk about, but like, long story short, the cancer that ultimately took my father's life was, it was a cancer that evolved from a sexually transmitted disease. So essentially, a lustful situation is what led to the demise of my father. And I didn't necessarily get that right away, but it, you know, as I got older and, you know, time had passed, I've had a lot of time to reflect on that. And There's literally a perfect correlation with almost every category in life, where if you only chase lust, you will meet your demise in some way, shape, or form. And unfortunately, that was the reality that, my father had faced. Now, again, I'm not going to go into too much detail in the exactly how it played out. At the end of the day, I have a lot of respect for my father. But what's mostly important is, if you look around you, look at the type of people that are always boastful about how many girls that they can get with. Look at the type of women that are boastful about all the men they're sleeping with, and they're smashing this guy and finessing this man out of their money. And I don't want to be disrespectful to anybody that is, maybe potentially dealing with, a very serious sexually transmitted disease or anything like that. Because again, as you can see, I know firsthand how scary and what you potentially are dealing with. But how many people's lives have been affected by people that are just sleeping around with any and everybody, anything that moves, just so that they can say they added another body to their body count? And you, the potentially innocent bystander in the situation, are now dealing with life-threatening or life-altering things, whether it's your health, maybe you got to deal with a kid now that you wasn't planned for, or maybe it's just another addition to feeding your lust addiction that you don't need. I promise you, I'm far from perfect, but I've been around the block enough to know that if you're waking up every day and the only thing that is consuming your mind is having sex, you really need to sit down and reevaluate everything that's going on in your life. I'm not the guy that's gonna get on here and tell you like you need to wait for marriage. I'm not the guy that's gonna get on here and tell you that you should never have sex. I'm not the guy that's gonna get on here and tell you that as a man that you should completely ignore your impulses to want to deal with a woman. But some of you guys aren't ready to deal with women. Some of you guys need to actually sit your ass down and focus on yourself. And I don't mean to sound like no feminist nigga or nothing, but some of y'all are so like lustfully attracted to women that you're not even looking at them as somebody that could potentially be a partner to build your family legacy out with. Y'all just looking at them as a piece of meat, essentially, somebody you could just get your nut off on. Which at the end of the day, my nigga, live your life. I could give a fuck. I'm definitely not gonna lose no sleep over the next man ruining his shit. But the reason I'm making this video is because I do feel like for the people that do want to better their lives, the people that are looking around and noticing these awkward patterns, that are looking around at their peers or even themselves and starting to notice that I'm living wrong. I don't know why I'm doing this, but this doesn't feel right. I don't feel fulfilled in what I'm doing. This video right here is your sign to stop. Something that is just 100% true across the board is too much of anything can't be good for you. And sex is just one of those things. It doesn't matter if you're still a virgin and all you do is consume corn. If you're actually good with women and you can get with as many girls as you want, the point is still the same. Your priorities are clearly not in check. It doesn't matter how many girls you get with. Kanye West said it best: one good girl is worth 1,000 bitches, my nigga. And that's not me necessarily saying that, oh, you can't mingle with other women as you're trying to find your one. I'm just giving you real practical advice. Don't be that guy that's only chasing the nut. Just make sure everything you're doing is genuine. And that, more than anything, I can't stress enough. I could give you a million tips on how to talk to women. I can give you a million tips how to build your physique. I can give you a million tips, style, fashion, whatever it is. But when you start losing the genuine part of anything in this life, you're going to lose your way. I see way too many content creators just pushing, almost like this systematic way of living. And look, I don't even want to act like I'm not guilty of it. Like, I'm a content creator, I make videos trying to help y'all. And sometimes it can feel a little bit repetitive because of just the nature of it all. Because the realest shit that I could ever honestly say is, be a good person, be genuine, be intentional about the decisions you're making. In what world, waking up, jacking your shit every day to a woman that you do not know and she will never know you is healthy? In what world is sleeping with a new girl every night sound like it makes sense? In what world are women fucking and sucking every nigga that breeds for some money? In what world? It doesn't make sense. And unfortunately, it seems like it's only getting worse. But on the same side of that coin, you can't stress what you can't control. But what you can control is yourself. So be honest with yourself. Look in the mirror. Start analyzing the problems and the addictions that you might be battling. And I know for a lot of my brothers out there, lust is a big one. Do you really want to be in a relationship right now? Or do you really need to work on your social skills first? Maybe you need to build that confidence. Maybe you need to learn how to build genuine relationships with people in general first. Every single time. You guys can watch the videos on my channel where I have pursued someone just out of, I guess, lust. And even the times where I might have been naive to the fact that it was lust that was driving, you know, the action, I was always left disappointed, bro. And am I regretful? I don't want to say I am, because they're lessons at the end of the day. And that's the part that I think a lot of people don't talk about. Like, as a growing man, even as a grown woman too, like, you gonna be in certain situations where you just gotta learn. And hopefully the scars and the burns that you get from that situation, you know, are things that you can overcome. But really the point I wanted to get across in today's video, be intentional. A lot of y'all are just moving way too fast. Hot girl summer, okay. But you really about to go let a bunch of strangers get up inside you, girl? And for my guys, I know how it feels to go up to one of the homies like,
yo, I just hooked up with shorty tonight. Here she look good. Ooh, what, that's you, bro? That's you? You bagged that? Damn, bro.
I know it feels good, but you know it doesn't feel good? Paying for a baby that you can't afford, dealing with an STD, could be a life-threatening situation. And shit, maybe if that's too extreme, let me bring it down to earth a little bit. For all my niggas out there that's juggling 3, 4, 5 women at the same time, I know that shit is draining. I know you get tired of dealing with all these different women emotions. This bitch stressing that you texting this girl, and she stressing that you texting this girl, and now you gotta hide this girl from posting shit because you don't want this other girl to see. Like, this shit is just too much. It's overwhelming, honestly. All that energy, time, and effort, if you're not putting it into yourself, if you genuinely like this specific girl, why not just give it to her? Why not just, you know, try to make it work? And if it don't, cool, and you'll get some lessons from that. But that's all I'm saying, bro. I promise you I don't got all this shit figured out. But one big thing that I'm always gonna stand on is be intentional and be genuine. Even when you think you being genuine, you still gonna fuck it up. You're not gonna get it right all the time. But to just be blindly, obnoxiously consuming all this over-sexualized bullshit mindlessly, whatever it is, that ain't the answer, bro. Hopefully after watching today's video, you can take a step back and understand that you need to move with purpose with every single thing you do. Because at the end of the day, all of our time is limited on this earth, and you never know when God's gonna pull your card, bro. So before you go invest in any of your time, energy, and effort into anything, be sure you're ready to deal with what could potentially happen after that.
Where you at, Berto?